Salam all, Osman here from halalfranchise.com, where we guide entrepreneurs through every step of their franchise journey. If you're here, you're either a business owner or an investor looking to get started into the franchise world, or you're somebody looking to take the franchise model and help scale and grow your business. Either way, you're in the right place. And if you wait till the end of this video, my team and I have put together a $2,000 gift bag just for you, which includes a very detailed study done with the NAR standard about the American Muslim market. Do you know American Muslims spend over $100 billion every year? And that's just across these 11 categories. Take a quick look at this. The high majority of this $100 billion that's spent every year happens just in these 11 states. Now, these 11 states are 11 out of 15 of the most populated by Muslims in America. So if you happen to do business or live in any one of these 11 states, consider yourself in a better position to take advantage of this opportunity today. So let's talk about halal franchise. What is halal franchise? That's essentially a two-part question. What is halal? What is a franchise? Let's start with the word halal. The word halal, it's an Arabic word. It means permissible according to Islamic law. It's not just about the ethical slaughtering of an animal for consumption or the inability to use alcohol or tobacco in your business, but it also directly relates to the ethical or halal way of doing business, of the way you sell your goods and services to people. So halal is a lifestyle or a clean and ethical way of living and practicing your business. That's halal. Now let's talk about a franchise. What is a franchise? A franchise is just a business expansion strategy. It's where you take your product or service or concept, right, which is replicatable or duplicatable, and offer it to somebody else as a license to do the same under your own brand. So that's a franchise. Some examples of franchisable concepts are restaurants, healthcare centers, urgent care facilities, educational services, copy and print shops, health and wellness centers, and so on. You get the point. Also, one very popular concept these days is a digital franchise. So we all know that the idea of having online businesses has become very popular recently. You can actually take your online, whether it's a store, concept, product or service, whatever it is, and turn that into a franchise as well, through things like an affiliate program. So a halal franchise is essentially any business that can be replicated or duplicated and conforms to certain ethical and religious beliefs, such as not serving alcohol or tobacco. It's that simple. Now that we know what a halal franchise is, allow me to share with you two of the most valuable lessons I've learned in the last 20 years of coaching and consulting franchises, businesses, and entrepreneurs. But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit about me. So my first entry into the world of entrepreneurialism was when I was 16. I had done some small things prior, but at 16 I made a conscious decision to actually drop out of high school and start this big business, which was a cyber cafe at the time. Obviously my parents didn't know because they wouldn't have allowed it. So I dropped out, spent about 6-7 months trying to understand how to start a business, right? I had to learn how to build a business plan, a marketing plan, had to figure out how to pitch investors. So eventually I figured it all out. And what I did was I took this business plan to a local computer company, and they invested about $150,000 into me, signed my lease, did everything. I was ready to open up shop. That was right around the time when my father found out that I left. And you can imagine as to his reaction. It wasn't pretty. Despite all of that, he still came in and tried helping me with the idea that I was going to go back to school quickly to finish my education. I did that, but I couldn't juggle the two. What I ended up doing was actually selling the business to the original investor, who actually loved it anyway, and I went back to do my education as per my parents' wishes. But it was always inside me, right? Once you get a taste of this drug, you can't let it go. You want to build something. You want to do something bigger, right? You want to take over the world. So I did that. After 2 years, I took another hiatus from college and I started another company based off of another opportunity that I saw in the market, which was energy consulting. I'm buying and selling gas, electricity, and heating oil. And I built this company called Rescom Energy. I did that for about 1.5 to 2 years, closed some really big clients in New York, and found the woman that I wanted to marry. So her mom essentially told me it wasn't going to happen unless I went back and finished school. So here we go again. I took the business concept, the business model. I took the Rescom Energy as a package and I sold it off to a local mortgage company. And I went back to school so that I can, get the woman of my dreams. What happened quickly after that is now I'm married, right? We don't have any kids yet. So you've got a lot of time. My wife's working, and as she was doing it, she said, you know what, why don't you go pursue a passion or do something else? And I found quickly that I liked building businesses. So this leads me to the next part of my discussion, which is about the two most valuable lessons that I learned over the last 20 years. And let's just summarize those 20 years real quick. I've coached, helped, or started over a dozen companies. I've traveled the world, met lots of cool people. I currently sit on the advisory board or the board seat of a number of different prestigious organizations, right? None of that really matters, actually. Again, if I was to summarize those 20 years and give you two of the most valuable lessons, I'd start with this, right? It's a question. What do you think are the two most valuable commodities in the world? And it's not a trick question, right? And it's also not gold or silver or diamond or whatever it is you're thinking. It's actually time and experience. Let's first talk about time. I'm reminded of a quote by one of the greatest wizards of all time, named Gandalf. I don't know if it was Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White, but he said, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Think about that for a second. It's pretty deep. How many of you or how many of us start a business with the idea that we're going to sacrifice thousands of hours away from our family to run and grow the concept or run and grow the business, right? Yet you're here. Time is what you're spending right now listening to me. Time is what you're taking away from your family every day to learn about and build the business that you're in. Time is a commodity that is often undervalued but not necessarily misunderstood, right? Everybody understands the importance of time, but do they really appreciate it? Do they really know the value of time? That was one of the things that I learned. That's one of the lessons that I learned over the last 20 years. It's the value of time and how important it really is. That leads me to the next lesson, which is the importance and value of experience. This reminds me of a word, ikra. So ikra in Arabic means read. And I believe this is something that's commonly misunderstood. It's not the act of reading or the repetition of reading that's important. In fact, it's the end result of reading that's important, which is essentially the acquisition of knowledge or better understanding into something, right? That's exactly what a coach gives you. The experience a coach brings to the table is of immense value. In addition, the coach's experience saves you a lot of time and money. So in essence, your coach is offering you the two most valuable commodities available today, right? Time and experience. Do you read medical journals before going to a doctor, or do you trust the doctor to figure out what's wrong with you and prescribe you a solution? I know I don't read case law or legal journals before going to my attorney, right? I assume that with his knowledge and experience, he's going to do what's in my best interest. So why is it so often that when we venture off into one of the biggest decisions of our life and most costly decisions of life, which is essentially building a business, right? Why do we do it without the help of somebody that knows exactly how it should be done? Have you been down Main Street? How many times have you seen turnover at a local business? Where you have a grand opening sign here today and a year or so later it's gone, right? There's another business in place of it. So turnover is very high in this business. And the biggest failure point is actually the lack of knowledge about the business or that of the customer the business is trying to serve. Right? It's people trying to figure it out themselves. Now this is Main Street, not Wall Street. No one's going to bail you out. I know what it feels like to lose a business. I've heard dozens of stories from families that have lost businesses and spent years later trying to dig themselves out of it. And this usually happens simply because they start with that passion and what they think is a need for the community, and they continue onward without a plan. And they try and figure it out themselves as they go. This reminds me of a saying that my dad used to grind into me when I was younger. And that's failing to plan is planning to fail. And I know you're not planning to fail. So if you find yourself spending too much time trying to figure out how to market your product or services, or automate emails, incorporate technology, or what sort of graphics and design you should be doing, or how to hire and train people, create legal documentation, manage investors or partners, the list goes on, right? Then stop. We're not here because of a problem that I had. We're here because of 4,000 other franchise owners and businesses we've spoken to over the last 5 years have all said the same exact thing. Access to a coach when they started would have been of immense value. So allow one of our coaches to help create a roadmap for you and guide you through every step of your franchise journey. And getting started is easy. Just click the button below, schedule a call with one of our coaches, and allow us to guide you on your journey. Thank you for your time. Salam and peace.